All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for joining us for our virtual release party, Combo Oscuro's virtual release party for our debut EP, Sonido Tan Rico, which is coming out on July 31st. We are going to be listening to it tonight in its entirety. So we're really excited to be sharing it with you guys. It's 4 tracks. We really wanted to just do a quick turnaround, so it's all DIY. But tonight we'll tell you a little bit about the album. We'll go through each song. We'll talk a little bit about the band, and then we'll be giving away 2 shirts. And so, the 2 shirts are from people who were kind enough to tag other people on Instagram. So thank you guys so much for that, and we'll get to that a little bit later during our virtual listening party. So again, welcome. And so I guess just because we're kind of new to cyberspace here, this is our introduction. We're fairly new. I think it would be kind of nice to just introduce each member of the band and kind of, what you do in the band. And I don't know if y'all's screens are oriented like mine, but I'll probably work left from right here. So John, kick it off. Tell us, who are you? What do you do?
John Dell, guitar, and some vocals, and I like to think of myself as showing up and doing gimmicks.
Showing up and doing gimmicks.
I'm just kidding. I just show up. Yeah, guitar, some vocals, kind of mess around with dabble in some other instruments, but primarily, that's what I do.
Well, yeah, so John is actually in another band that's kind of a staple in the cumbia scene here in Austin, Texas. That's where we're located. If you're watching this, down the line and you're not in Austin, Texas, he's in a band called El Thule. There's a couple of people here who are actively in El Thule, and then we have some former members from El Thule. But yeah, so you're pointing at Peter on my screen, so it's a little bit this Brady
I figured
Bunch,
that out.
Yeah, this Brady Bunch configuration is slightly different on everybody's screen.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so John's in El Thule, but let's kind of move on. I'm going to move over to Peter. What's up, Peter? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
Peter Fuller, I'm a bass player. Moved to Austin and went to a couple of blues jams, and COVID hit, and spent the next year basically inside going crazy, and looked in Craigslist, found an ad John was advertising for. Never found a decent band in Craigslist in 40 years, and talked to John and introduced to these guys, and it's been a very cool experience.
Yeah, that's the way it works. So he's from NOLA, from the Big Easy, bringing those Big Easy low end. So yeah, I'm excited to share some of the tracks because the way that they actually ended up sounding, that low end really powers through. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, fun. There's so much common ground in between the soul and the spirit in New Orleans and all of the musical styles that come out of New Orleans. And it's a really fresh experience for me to try to pick up this cumbia. It's a lot like, say, picking up a Cajun two-step or picking up a blues type of style. They're very stylistic, and the only way you can really pick them up is to try to play them. So I'm a New Orleans guy bringing that grease, but I'm trying to learn a traditional style of cumbia, and it's challenging, but I think it's really working out well. It's fun.
Right on. All right, moving forward, Joshua, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Hey, doing great. Thanks, Mauro. It's good to be here with El Combo Oscuro. So I'm playing timbales and some other percussion, a huira por aquí and a huiro por allá. I was born in Austin and lucked into a little group that actually involved Matt, even before I had a little stint with El Thule, where we got to do some fun percussion workshopping on some like Cuban comparsa with some Cubans, a friend of ours, Leonel, and just so happens Martin Perna was there, one of the founders of Antibalas, and he'd moved to Austin, bought a house, and was trying to get some more teaching. So got into it that way, then ended up in El Thule, and it's been a minute. I was been traveling and around Latin America and back in Austin, and got in touch with John about this project and was really excited to hear the style of cumbia that El Combo Oscuro was going for, and so glad to be playing together with such a talented group of folks who've had so much fun.
Nice. All right, Matt Turner, another El Tule member. Mateo Turner, what's going on, dude?
Ew.
Oh, you're on mute, buddy.
No, I'm not. I'm just kidding.
Tricked.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with the manipulation of the feeling of warped time and space. So I like to hang out, make music, or work on music with people who like to fill in the space or to dynamically punch holes in what was just sound and is now silence. I like the congas.
Very poetic, dude, and it speaks to the background that you have. It's very spacey there, dude. I think it's like what, like a, I don't know, some sort of I forget what you call those things.
Oh, and I always wanted to be in a band with at least two people that had tapestries.
There we go, man. It seems to be a common theme here. Actually, it's a very big common theme now when I look at it.
That's more important, honestly. It's dream fulfilled.
Poetry snap.
Right on, Gabe. What's up, dude? So Gabe is on drums. What's going on, Gabe? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. Yeah, I'm the newest person. I was walking in the park, and that's like just doing meditation, walking, and I happened to see this band practicing, and I kicked it with the homeless guy as y'all finished rehearsal, and just got a free sticker and doing something this cool, and then like 2 months later, I got the call from you, and I'm really excited because the pandemic is definitely it's been a tough year, having like a swine.
Yeah, slowed a lot of people down and stuff.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if drumming was going to be a thing, and so to have this be like something I can kind of like, you know, fit into, and again, everything Peter said, learning all these rhythms and stuff. When I traditionally come, I guess, from more of like a jazz, funk, blues background, it's been really exciting. So, yeah,
cool. So actually, Gabe, I feel like I don't know if I met you actually like in person, but it's the same way I met Matt and John too. A few years ago, I was like kind of like trying to turn like kind of a studio project into a live project. And John hit me up, and then he brought Matt, and we were kind of jamming for a while, but you know, like with schedules and stuff, it was tricky. But I remember I had kind of put out a call looking for a drummer, and you were one of the persons who hit me up, and like I remember checking out your stuff, and I was like, damn, we should like work together like sometime. And years went by, you know, and like I know you were gigging, like doing some jazz stuff, and then so I was like, yeah, let me hit him up. I mean, he might still be interested, he might be open, you know. I know a lot of like gigging musicians there. As COVID kind of like got a little bit suppressed, people started gigging, and it was like everybody was busy all of a sudden. So it was nice that you were available, man. So welcome aboard. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, this band is dope. Everyone in this band is really cool personality, really strong player, and pulling from like really authentic places. So I feel really fortunate.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, glad to have you on board, dude. So yeah, so let's like kind of talk about a Combo Oscuro just briefly before we get into the music. Again, we're new. All of us have kind of been in like general projects that like vary in sound, but some of us have played things that are kind of like cumbia or cumbia adjacent, and so I guess because I mean I feel like when COVID hit, I was like working on some stuff, and I got a call from John, and John was like, "Hey, I got an idea for like another arrangement. Are you interested? I got some other guys that are interested." Yeah, John, just kind of like tell us about like what was your thought process kind of like getting everything together?
Well, I guess going back, I was thinking about this on the way home because, you know, everybody's like real fast-paced life, and I don't really stop to kind of contemplate, you know, think about things too much. But I guess going back 3, 4, 5 years maybe, Mauro's been putting out these recordings, and they were really good, man. And so, but they were all over the place, you know. So it was like some samba, there was remember some boleros, some stuff like that, and some cumbias, but it just had a real distinct sound. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. And like Mauro said, we got together, I guess it was a few years ago now, but you know, everybody's playing in different bands and everything, and so it didn't really gain that much traction. But then I think when COVID hit, uh, we just used it as an opportunity to get together. You know, we were meeting outdoors, being socially distanced and safe. And from those first few rehearsals, I mean, it was really obvious that we were onto something. And things have just been kind of falling in place, having a good time. You know, it's been work, you know, but I'm really grateful and happy to be a part of it. And I think it's hitting the mark with some of those sounds. It's like, man, you know, having a good time with it. And then the recording that Mauro, by the way, produced and engineered the recording himself. Super excited about it. I mean, it's stuff that I mean, for me personally, it's stuff that I've listened to like my whole life. So I'm like really connected. I'm tuned into it. And I've, you know, played some cumbia, some Latin stuff, but this is a whole different type of deal here. And just happy to be on board with it, man. And I think that's kind of the way, at least, that, you know.
Yeah, awesome.
Came out.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that's a good segue to start. Actually, you know, we could segue into actually talking about the album. So, like John mentioned, this was something that we did DIY, and it's like, I guess, like our debut EP, but we actually have a track out already on, you know, like all the streaming services, and it's not pressed. There's not a physical copy of it, but it was one track that we did just to kind of get it out, help us get some gigs, help, you know, try to, you know, kind of showcase our sound a little bit. And it wasn't DIY. We most of it was done at Leche House, which is Beto Martinez's studio, Beto Martinez of Grupo Fantasma and Money Chicha and Brownout. And so we tracked everything there. We got that song out, and, you know, we shopped it around, and, you know, there was a lot of interest in it. But then, you know, the gig requests started coming in, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure you guys share the same experience. As we were playing, you know, people would come up and like, hey, you know, where can I find you guys online? And, you know, like, do you guys have music online? I'm like, yeah, well, we have one song. So we have some kind of bigger gigs coming up. So we wanted to kind of put together, you know, just a few more songs. But in the interest of time, like, okay, well, how do we do it? You know, it's a quick turnaround. Again, I know everybody kind of in like the Austin music scene is very busy. So I was like, okay, well, let's just maybe try to do it in-house. We'll figure out a way to do it. So I want to say, like, you know, we tracked percussion in, you know, my studio, but really it was like my hot ass garage. I know, like, Josh and Matt will attest to that, how hot it was and stuff. And then you know, Peter tracked his bass, sent it over. John came over, we overdubbed it. I mean, it ended up really, I mean, and by no means am I tooting my own horn here. Like, it was very easy to mix because I think we had been playing, and like, I think the chemistry just between us as players, it was super smooth. I mean, it was like, you know, like that always doesn't, I don't record often, but sometimes when I do, it's not as easy to mix. So it's really speaks, you know, to y'all sort of musicianship and able to kind of communicate that in a studio setting, in a hot garage setting. And it kind of worked out. So yeah, so again, the EP is coming out next Saturday, July 31st. We're actually going to be playing in Marfa, Texas at a festival called La Big Ben. That should be pretty cool. The day that we're actually playing there is when it's going to be released, and it should be available on all streaming services. If not that day, it will be shortly thereafter, but we're trying to get it that day. But again, tonight, we wanted to give everybody a preview. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this. Thank you guys so much for having some interest in this. And yeah, let's go ahead and kick off and start talking about the actual song. So it's 4 tracks. Track number 1 is Rebajada Oscura. It's a slower cumbia jam. I really want Josh to talk about this. Now, Josh, earlier when we were talking about this, he said, well, it's not a true rebajada, because Josh can get very technical on the definition of rebajada. I would say 3 out of 5 of us, maybe 3 out of 6 of us, maybe even 4 out of 6 of us, like, I don't know, it checks a lot of the boxes for rebajada. But Josh, nonetheless, it might not be technically, but Josh was the one who came with the idea when we were writing music. He's like, I'd really like to kind of like bring a song like this to the group. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that, Josh.
So the just to put out a little teaser, you know, we have this recording project going on, but then, you know, we're not going to stop there because we've got quite a big set. So we've got even other projects in the pipeline, and one of those is Sultana de la Indepe, and the idea is that with the Rebajada, it's something that began in Monterrey. John loves Monterrey, has connections there, friends, you know, I've been there on bicycle a number of times, like about half a dozen times. I've ridden a bicycle there to donate bikes. And so Monterey, you know, it's a lot of people in Austin don't know. It's just, you know, a couple hours down to San Antonio, a couple hours to Laredo, and a couple more to Monterrey. So it's the closest mountains you can get to. Beautiful mountains,
It's super
huge
beautiful.
national park. But this amazing scene, you know, happened that is documented, has been documented recently in film and some kind of fictional stories based in reality. But is it Ya No Soy Yo? Is that the film, John?
Ya no estoy aquí.
Ya No Estoy Aquí. Ya No Estoy Aquí. Ya No Estoy Aquí, a great film. Kind of, if you're interested in Rebajada, that's a cool thing to check out. Where, you know, you have the traditional genres of like norteño and ranchera and conjunto and the corridos, but people migrating from the south of Mexico to El Norte, you know, to look for work because there's more industry, factories and stuff like that. They were looking for something else, and they found this cumbia colombiana, you know, and then it blew up, and apparently the guy throwing parties with the cumbia colombiana's electricity blew up one day, and it slowed everything down. And so you got this like kind of DJ Screw meets cumbia sound, and people loved it. They danced to it, and so it's this kind of iconic, if you know, maybe dated for younger audiences, but I think it's you know, I love it. Like Peter mentioned earlier when he popped into Hotel Vegas the other night, the DJ was bumping some rebajada, and people were getting down to it. You know, it's especially once, I think it's, you got to have the up tempo stuff early in the night, but once everyone's like deep into the party, really feeling it, you throw on a rebajada and people they hear that. So yeah, that was the inspiration. It's just kind of a slow down cumbia inspired by Colombia. It's got Mauro's wonderful vintage organ sounds, you know, as in most of our tracks, right? All of them. And that gives it that kind of like vintage cumbia sound. So it's kind of it's unique. It's something I think we're all very proud of the sound, because it is unique, and it's something we think will pack the dance floor, and bailadores, bailadoras, dancers, we're thinking of you, you know, that people need to know that when we're writing and we're talking about it, we're like, you know, like what's going to get people out there? So
yeah, don't say, Lord, don't say.
We're trying to throw parties. We're not trying to just play for ourselves. We're trying to play for our público, our queridos y queridas out there who wanna throw down. So yeah.
Right on. All right, well then let's get to it. So without further ado, this is track number 1 on the EP Que Sonido Tan Rico, and the track is called Rebajada Oscura. Hope you enjoy it. All right, so that was the first track, Rebajada Oscura, off of our EP, Que Sonido Tan Rico. Yeah, we're super proud of that. That one came in pretty good, and like it's. I thought it was going to be challenging to sort of help translate that into like actual like record it, but it sounded great. Audio files out there, I'll admit it clips at times. Sorry, I got excited, and it just comes with the territory of DIY, but all in all, sounded good. So right on. So the next track, track number 2 of 4 is Alebrije. This one's actually, it's one of my favorite tracks, I think, because we kind of do some salsa stuff, and then it kind of goes into cumbia, and then back into salsa. Live, it seems like people respond to this one. So really excited to share this one. This is actually an idea that I think, John, you brought to the table almost like in completion. You brought like the main riffs. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
It was just like a little guitar riff, and that's part of the process that I really enjoy. I really enjoy like writing music together, which is, all I would do is just bring a riff and an idea, and it was like, we could get the song out of it, like really like bad phone recordings. We bounced some stuff back, and I think Peter we were back and forth with some bass stuff in it, but it completely like took on a life of its own with El Combo Oscuro, with all 6 of us, and it just kind of took on life. And then the salsa ending, and it just put so that's kind of how that it was. Like Matt and I were talking about this the other day. It was like when we first got together, there was just like all these little snippets of ideas, and we didn't even have songs or anything. So that's kind of this. Alebrije was one of those little snippets of ideas.
Yeah, I definitely remember playing this one at Matt's house. Matt's so kind to let us make noise in his living room, and his family as well. You're like, no, I'm actually against it. What's up, Josh? Oh, Josh, I thought you were raising your hand to comment on it.
Kind.
For now,
my wife is kind.
Yeah,
your wife is hip. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So I remember when we were kind of writing this one out, John had brought that riff, and then I think it ended differently, and then I think we're like, well, can we extend it and then bring it back into the salsa and then start with the salsa? And it ended up really working. I really love playing this one live. It's one of the early songs typically right now in our set, and I think it's the one, as people are feeling us out, when we play this one, it's like people are like, okay, and they kind of respond to it pretty well. So so let's go ahead and jump right into the song. This is track number 2 off the EP called Alebrije. Hope you enjoy it. right, and that was Alebrije. Man, I forgot to give a shout out to Matt. We did that one on the fly in terms of Matt has like a little badass like conga solo, and it was like I think that was like maybe the 4th track that we were doing in my hot garage. Like when I say hot, it was like probably 100 degrees. And for him to agree, like to be like, all right, should we do a solo and actually try to do that? He knocked it out of the park. Sounded awesome. We were all sweating bullets. So
I lost all 3 pounds that I'd put on while I was drinking beer during the production of that one.
yeah, it was just we were drinking beer and then it would just get sweated out. I was completely sober after that session, and I felt like I lost a little weight too. My skin looked great the next day, so it was all in all, it was really sort of a real balanced session there. Yeah, cool. So we have 2 more songs to share with you guys, but before we do that, I want to let's give away some shirts. We had asked a few people, or we had asked the Instagram followers to tag some people just to help us get, you know, sort of our name out to friends, you know, who might dig our sound. And yeah, we were fortunate enough to have a few people do that. And so as part of that, we said we're going to be giving away a shirt, but we're going to go ahead and give away 2 shirts just because. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, these are the shirts.
2. That's a sweet shirt.
Yeah, they're very quality. I got them printed at Industry Printing, which is, man, they're I mean, super fast printing, super reasonable. So
and t-shirt designed by, I don't know who I'm pointing at now, but Mauro's over here for me.
I did do the design on that shirt.
Yeah, man. Otherwise known as what is it, Brother Mao Design?
Brother Mao.
Brother Mao Design. That's his work right there.
Yeah, it was fun because I like sometimes like when I do generally I do sort of like interface design, but you know, I started as a graphic designer, but like one of my things that I loved to do early on was like listen to music and just like design stuff. And so when we were kind of playing this music, I was like, I think I could like kind of create a look like with, you know, just some like wordplay, you know, like with some typography that kind of fits the sound. So they look pretty cool. We've gotten a lot of compliments, you know, on the sort of shirt. And then, you know, we've kind of been posting that little logo a couple places. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here and let's see if I can make this work. Let's see. This is real fly by the seat of our pants here.
Oh, look at there.
Yeah, you got, is this impressive or what? This is
impressive. Fortune.
Should I click do not sell my data?
De la fortuna.
Do not sell my data. All right, guys. So we got 16 names on here. Well, I'm going to do this twice, but before, let me throw this out there. Matt, think of a number 1 through 5. Was there a drum roll? Was there? Matt, 1 through 5 number. 3. Okay, I'm going to shuffle it 3 times. Now let's give this a spin. Drum roll, please.
Hey.
Okay. Oh. Hey, perfect bread. You want a shirt, dude. Congratulations. Congratulations. We'll hit you up on Instagram to make sure we get that shirt to your fitting.
Leslie
nice.
Cox was robbed.
Yeah, man, that was a close one, Leslie. I'm so sorry about that. All right, I'm going to remove you from. I'm going to remove you from the list. And okay, John, give me a number 1 through 5.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it. Drum roll, please. Nice. And the second, our good friend, right? Our good friend, Federico 7 Music. Hey, we got a shirt. There's like clapping on this too. This is actually a really cool little app. Federico, we'll be reaching out to you, homie, and we'll get you a shirt. So that should be cool. Love that guy. We actually, he was actually one of the first persons who reached out to us to kind of like do a little like media bit, and that was really cool of him. He has his own music project too. So yeah, shout out to him, and thank you so much for, you know, kind of getting us that sort of early visibility, and now you get a shirt, dude. If you don't already have one, I don't know if we already gave him one, but now you have one, man. So, anyways, well then, yeah, cool. So I'll go ahead and we'll coordinate that on Instagram and get you guys y'all shirts. Again, thank you guys so much for sharing that and sharing it with your friends on Instagram. That we're just trying to get our word out. So all that kind of stuff is like, sometimes it feels like a shameless plug. Every band does it. And, you know, it's kind of worth it in the end to help like build that. But anytime I'm posting that, I'm like, oh, I'm that guy. Or like when we're posting it, it's like, oh, we're that band who's posting it. But anyways, thank you guys so much. So, all right, moving forward, we're going to be going to track number 3, which is called Que Sonido Tan Rico. It's a title track of the EP. This is actually one that we wrote pretty early and pretty late. Josh, do you want to talk about it a little bit, or?
Oh, I was just shouting out.
Okay, right on. I saw you raise
track. Yeah, I know. It's raise the roof, raising
the roof there, dude. I thought you were raising your hand, but you technically were. So,
yeah,
so the title of this track is actually a nod to an existing track. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention it. There's a little riff in there that is an homage to a track called Que Chola Tan Rica by the Destellos from Peru. It's a really killer chicha track, cumbia chicha track. We actually wrote this one. We were practicing in a public park for a while. And we were like, okay, well, man, we're trying to fill in like an hour and a half set. Let's throw some ideas out there. And so we wrote the initial riff, and it sounded pretty cool. And then I did this other thing, and I was like, I remember that from somewhere. But we were kind of grooving. John started playing guitar over it. Percussion started grooving on it, bass. And it ended up just being like, all right, dude, let's try to get that one released. It ended up being, I guess, maybe that's typically how it works, is you continue writing the most recent stuff you're like, man, that you're most excited about, right? So I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but
I don't think it's going to wear off for me on this one. I was listening to it on the way home, and I was like, wow, man.
Yeah, it's a cool track.
The guitar riff, it's Mauro, by the way. It's like, it's really interesting the way this song came about. Just hearing that little like first little key riff, you know, everything falls into place. Love it, man. Love the bass, the percussion, all of it.
Yeah, it's a solid little track with a few little change ups here and there. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and play and listen to our next track, Que Sonido Tan Rico. Once again, hope you enjoy it. right, that was Que Sonido Tan Rico, and we hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, that's the title track, the titular track, as one might say, of the album. And man, that one's a blast to play. Again, one of our newer songs as a band. It's all new to everybody, but man, that one's just a blast to play, and it's it's just got a lot of dynamic there. That's really, again, fun just to perform in front of a crowd. But actually, while we were listening to it, Josh brought up something that's pretty funny with the shirt winner with Federico. What were you saying about that?
Just a shout out to Fredgy, because great, a wonderful person, wonderful musician, and happened to be at one of the first shows, kind of as live music was returning to Austin after the pandemic, and it was outdoors, these little tarimas or stages that Esquina Tango had built, so that folks could socially distance and hang out and party, 4 to 6 people on these little tarimas. And it was Fredgy doing his album that he had released right before the pandemic. Great album. Also just got to see him recently at Independence Brewery down south of the Cecilia and the Broken Hearts. But he did a giveaway, and it was a giveaway of his latest CD and his latest album. And I think it was a question about one of his favorite soccer teams from Brazil, Flamengo. So shout out to Fredgy. That CD's in my little 2010 Honda Fit, so I bump it every day almost. So love it.
Let me say this: even though Josh won his gear and he won our gear, by no means is this rigged. He won the shirt fair and square. It's a randomizer online, so
it was meant to be. It was.
First show I went to in Austin with my brother-in-law, we went to Ruta Maya, and he was on stage with his band Gandaya.
Amazing.
Salsa, just salsa dura.
Nice.
And the guy playing Timbales, he's playing in Brownout now. There's like all these guys, the horn section. Man, yeah, that was amazing, man.
Right on.
I also caught them one last story at down, and it's one of the first places that at one point the guy who started Nomad Sound and originally did sound for Grupo Fantasma down at the Empanada Parlor. One night he was doing sound for them, and they were playing some cumbia, and I remember him saying he like kissed this lady for the first time, and it was this magical moment. But he ended up touring with them. This is Damon Lang from Nomad Sound, and I got to see Gandaya Fredgy with him, with Raul Salinas, OG from the East Side, who was on they rolled out this banner when Austin FC first played, who's kicking off right now. Cheers to Austin FC, Los Verdes. But anyway, he was on this banner that they dropped in one of the Austin FC's first home games. Raul Salinas, amazing poet, East Austin guy. But yeah, Fredgy, lots of love for Fredgy here. And our El Combo Oscuro release, Que Sonido Tan Rico, first EP here.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of shout outs to it, man. You better listen to it, dude. All right, so that brings us to our last track, right? So this is, again, it's a short EP. We just wanted to get a few tracks out there just to kind of, like get some stuff online and possibly, I don't know if, like maybe some digital sort of, ways to kind of distribute it. But again, we just wanted to get some more tracks out there. This is obviously a project that, like it's been pretty much up into now pretty well received when we bring it out live. So, we just wanted to kind of make it short, but really kind of get it out there. So this last track is La Perla, and I got to really hand it off to the percussion team here because, man, it's like they're like working like double time on this one. So it's a pretty fast track, kind of in contrast to some of the other tracks. And so without further ado, let's go to our last track, La Perla, and this will be concluding. We'll close out here in a sec, but this will be the conclusion of the album. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. La Perla. right, and that was the concluding track La Perla off of our EP. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. We have some really great kind of shows coming up that we're super excited about. I don't know if you guys want to talk about them. And I know we're playing Marfa on the 31st, which is when it will be released.
Viva
we
Big
have some really
Ben.
good stuff. Viva Big Ben. We're going to be playing Hotel Vegas's 10-year anniversary, which is going to be an awesome show. One of my favorite venues. What do we have the date on that?
Yes, it's let me see. 1 second. Thursday, August 5th, we will be outside at 9 p.m. But bands inside, outside. It's a big free party.
It's going to be a huge celebration.
Kyle.
Yeah. So it's going to be a huge sort of event there. Obviously, one of the staples of the venue. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching this. Thank you guys so much for listening. The EP, if you're watching this before July 31st, it'll be out on July 31st. Streaming, on all streaming services, Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, whatever your, streaming services. So again, keep a lookout for us. Come join us at one of our shows. We'd love to see you. We'd love to meet you. So we're signing off. So El Combo Oscuro.
Saludos.
Take it easy, guys.
Un gusto. Cuídense.
Peace.
Besos.